Before I start the video, I just wanted to mention that the AE86 made it on MightyCarMods Minecraft car segment. I'm pretty excited and honored, and I'll link it down in the description for you guys to check out and show your support in the comments.
Which one's the bigger piece?
Alright, what's up my dudes? I'm finally back again working on the AE86. So I got a few smaller things to do. As you guys just saw in the previous clip, my alternator barely works. It's like at 10 volts. It rarely starts unless I'm giving it a lot of gas. So I got a new one that I gotta put in. And also the connector was really bad. So I got a new connector to put in. And I also wanna try to fix the cold start because you guys saw once again that it's pretty hard to start. So yeah, basically gotta take off the old alternator now. I'm supposed to have a clip. What's that?
What used to be a clip?
Alright, got the alternator out. It's a bit dirty, and yeah, I don't know what's leaking under here. It's like a solid layer of sludge. So I tried to clean up a little bit. I did the best that I can. So I exposed the alternator wiring with this razor blade and stripped the plug. And I did disconnect the battery. Oh yeah, handles here.
It's not hard to do.
Positive cable has been successfully soldered.
Wants to be watertight next. We got mud bogging?
Yeah. So I've been just trying to install this alternator. That tensioner bolt is really bent. It wasn't a problem when I took it off, but putting it back on, I can't slide it back enough so the bolt doesn't line up. I didn't think I could do it, but as you can see, that bolt right there is in the alternator. What I basically did was loosen that bolt a lot, which those threads are pretty much stripped, and it's actually more straight now because it went over the kinked part. Got all those connectors in, now time for the new plug. Oh yeah, it's pretty good. And I made these wires kind of long, especially these, because I plan on fixing this whole area wiring wise because it's just an absolute mess. Just like the rest of this car's wiring pretty much. But it works somehow, so. Alright, so I'll put it back together. Now I just gotta fire this up and see if the alternator is 13 volts right away. Oh, gotta hook up the battery. I was just blipping the throttle and then it went up, so it's pretty much the same as before, but it might be slightly better, but that's kind of, I wish it fixed it, but it's not fixed. So there's this hood pin, and there's a nut on the other side, but no washer, so it just kept pulling up, and it was kind of tearing it out. Well, Dina can flatten that out. And we're gonna use a washer nut. Wow, look how much better that is. It's actually on there.
It's just finger tight too.
Yeah. And these will stay straight and not keep spinning around and everything. So there were 2 eBay fans. I just pulled off the other one. I had to drift the vent. I like wired it up real quick because they weren't wired up. Because one of them like shorted out. It shorted out on the previous owner. eBay fans, I don't know. So I think it's not charging because this red/white wire for the 240SX. It's supposed to be for the light. So basically this wire needs to get 12 volts. When the alternator is off, it'll provide power to kickstart it. So I have to give it to ignition, 12 volts ignition, so it won't drain the battery over time. And it should be working, but there might be like a bad relay, which I have no idea where it's gonna be. And this fan is wired up to 12 volts ignition, so I'm just gonna tap into it to make sure it works. Oh yeah, also to show the great wiring on this car. So a thick clear speaker wire goes straight from the positive battery onto the starter, and this thinner speaker wire is what provides power to the whole car basically. I'm gonna solder these two wires together. Got that black one soldered up. I just cut off the crimp connector for this because it was pretty terrible. So I guess I gotta put those together and then cut this one off. Ugh. I got everything run underneath there so it's out of the way of all the pulleys. I think it's ready to start and try it out. So I tied everything back up and ran that in aluminum and stuff. Alright. I will show you guys, it'll start charging right away.
That's magic.
So it's still kind of tricky to start. That wasn't bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
More like an actual car now.
I like it.
Nice.
Take a picture of you.
Come on, why won't my lights turn on, dude? So I'm not sure why my lights stopped working, but I also noticed my dash lights stopped working earlier on the day before, but I don't think I touched their wiring at all, unless I missed the fuse or something. Well, I'm going to try to explain this stuff a little better in case you guys try to swap something or you just want to learn how to like read diagrams and stuff. So I got the sense wire, which senses how low the voltage is, so it knows how much to put out, and the battery wire, which pretty much is where all the current flows, and same with 240. And that's the main battery wire, that's the sense wire. Then I just got the earth, which goes right there onto the ground. So that leaves me with a light wire, L, and a light wire on the 86 one also. But then I have a IG wire, which is just, I can't connect to anything. This is what was previously wired up to the L slot, which is that one. The IG wire on the 86 is supposed to kickstart it, and the L just supposed to give out a light if it's not working. But on the 240, it's combined. So if we follow it, when it gets ignition, it'll turn on a light. And it'll provide power when the alternator is not on. When it turns on, there's no ground anymore, so the circuit's like pretty much broken. So it doesn't flow at all, and the light turns off. Then if we look at the 86 wiring, when the ignition turns on, it's supposed to go through here, turn on the light, and ground out over here, and like that, or something like that. And the engine turns on, and I don't know, it kind of grounds out there or something, and then like kind of turns that on, and then grounds there. I know it's kind of confusing, but it should have still worked with this wired up, but it didn't for some reason. I guess that the 240 alternator needs power during ignition, not just when the engine is on. It needs it on sooner, but that's just my guess. But yeah, I just put the ignition to there. But what I should do, I should have the ignition going here and out the light, and then it goes through here. Or it also goes like that. And then it'll work just like OEM. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like this video if you made it all the way through. You're probably already subscribed. Also buy our t-shirts and check out that MightyCarMods video. So see you next time.